I lost money working a 9 to 5. And I'm going to explain. I'm going to get straight into the point. I lost money because I could have made a lot more money than waiting on a check. Our job went from weekly pay to bi-weekly because they said it's a lot easier in paperwork, which is I had to change over all my bills instead of a weekly, like instead of my bill getting due on the 13th and me paying it, I had to pay it early. And that screwed me up right there. And I know a lot of y'all is going through that. And how many of y'all that worked a job where it was weekly and it went to bi-weekly? And some jobs only pay monthly, especially when you're working for like the state or the government or something, pays monthly. And I know that it's a hard survival task right there. You got to, man, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. The reason why is because that I can't pay everything at once and pay myself and be broke next or three. I did it before. I worked at the government job when I worked for the health department temporarily. I was doing it when I was kind of in school, out of school for the summer. I worked at the health department. They paid monthly. And when I got that check was small. I was like, man, this? And then I was like, okay, cool. All right, and I talked to one of the supervisors that hired me as a temp, and I asked him, I said, do we get paid once a month? He said, yeah, we get paid every 15th or every 1st. It was a long time ago, and I'm like, what? How do they live like this? And so I went ahead and worked my job as during the summer. And soon as school came back, I was only like 2 weeks of school to get back into school. I left. I was like, man, I'm out. I ain't never doing this. But I did it just to make a little income. But it was monthly pay. And I was out for the summer. What? When you're in school, you're only out for what? Depends on what school system you're in. You're only out for maybe 2 months of summer vacation, 2.5. And after that, I was back to school. I worked there for 2 months and got only 2 checks. I was like, man, I don't know how. And me, I'm only 17 at the time. I'm like, how are they surviving? And so my point is that when I was working a job, I had to structure my bills. I had to pay early. So me paying early, because they went from weekly to bi-weekly pay periods, I had to be broke early, be broke even more quicker, which I know it don't make sense to some people who never experienced it, but to people that in this video who have experienced it, you know what I'm talking about. So I had to like pay my bills early, and that put me into a more of a hole, and I had to reschedule all my bills around my pay schedules, which sucked because I didn't have no money. I didn't have no money from the jump. And so I said, okay, I got to pay myself back. I got to do something. And I'm going off the subject here. If you talk to a millionaire, if you know a millionaire and you talk to them that are successful, they will love to tell you their story. They will love to tell. And if I go to, and this is my point, if I go to a millionaire and I say, hey, man, you have $100 on you right now, they're going to say, nope, I don't have it. And this is a millionaire. You know why they don't have it? It's because that they letting the money make money. They might have a debit card on them. That's it. So if you try to rob a millionaire, you ain't getting nothing. You might get a debit card. What's your PIN number, fool? But other than that, you ain't getting nothing out of them. My point is that they will tell you that they don't have money. It's because their money is making money. Their money is building compound interest. They're investing their money. So they ain't gonna have no cash on them. Because my point is that as a regular 9 to 5 person or a person that's saving, you can't save. You're going to eventually pinch off that money. Pinch off, pinch off, pinch off, pinch off. You're going to eventually start pinching off that money. And if you don't believe me, type it in the comment section that I'm wrong, that I can save. Why don't you just let the money that you have in a right bank account make his money for you? High yield savings account. Roll your whole 401k into a brokerage account and start investing. Because I noticed that when my money was in a 401k, it was just sitting there. It was just sitting there. And the money that was making was the money that I was putting in. And so I was thinking like, man, I could put this in a regular bank account. I can. And so I said, no, I got to do something. I borrowed from it, started a business, a t-shirt business, which was... And then I said, okay, I got to put that money back in that I borrowed from because they taxed the mess out of me. So I put that back in. I said, there's a way. Lord, there is a way. And I said, okay, what if I just start letting my money make his money? How do I do that? I got to create a service. I get ready to create a service. And then my uncle popped up in my head. God rest his soul. He popped up in my head. He said, get into the stock market. You could do all kinds of wonders in the stock market. It took me 24 years to figure out that he was right all along. And I'm going to give you 4 tips of what you could do in the stock market. Let's say you're uneducated. I'm not trying to be rude, but let's say you're uneducated. You don't know anything about numbers. You flunked math. You barely graduated high school. You don't have to be educated. You don't have to graduate high school. You don't have to know math to do this. All you have to do is use your money and let it make money. Open up your high yield savings account. Link is in the bio if you want to know where I go. Open up your brokerage account. My highly suggestion is for beginners, Robinhood. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just saying Robinhood works for me. Robinhood, which is a link in the bio, get you some free stocks while you're at it. And then I started messing around with the market. What I did was, you could do this. You could put your money in the market and let it build. Let high yield. This is high yield. This is high yield ETFs, okay? What I mean by high yield ETFs, blue chip stocks like QQQ and VOO. And then those stocks and also I can't think right now. SHCH. Okay, Charles Schwab, okay? What you do is when you put your money in those kind of blue chip stocks, like they got other stocks under them like Walmart, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, whatever, Lowe's, Home Depot. They got all those stocks under them that you're making money off of as well. What you do is you can put your money in there and let it build up over time if you have time. But in this day and age, we don't have time. So that's one step you could do. Let it build. The interest that you get off of those blue chips, reinvest them. Or you could put it into a bank account to where you can actually pull out and use it for gas money. Use it for your cell phone bill. Use it for some groceries. Use it to pay your light bill. You could do that as well. Or you can also collect dividends on high yield stocks that are actually profitable, that's rising up. Collect dividends. That's 2 things you can do to create income. What are dividends? Dividends is where a stock pays you a percentage. A stock pays out their shareholders a percentage. Let's say you get $5 from one stock. Let's say you have 10 stocks. That adds up, okay? That's $50. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Yep, $50. Sometimes I have to count because I'm not good at math. So that's $50 that you can collect in dividends. They can either pay weekly or they can pay monthly. Now you're collecting $50 plus you're collecting, you're building interest on these blue chip stocks. You're collecting $2 and $3 here and there, investing in that or using that to pay your bills. Now that's 2 things. Okay. Number three, why not sell cover calls? Sell the stocks that you already own. If you don't have stocks that you own, sell puts. Sell puts. And what you could do is, when you sell a put, you're giving the buyer the obligation to buy. Okay, let's say, for example, I'm going to break it down. Let's say if I own 100 shares of Tesla, perfect example. And what I could do is I can sell my shares at a reasonable price that can benefit me. And when I sell my shares at a reasonable price, I collect a premium. Okay? Like, let's say you own a toy and the toy is worth $10, and then somebody wants to buy your toy, but you can rent the toy out to them until they buy it or change their mind. Let's say, okay, you want this $10 toy, I can rent it out to you for $3. But if you give me that $3, I get to keep that $3 and don't have to pay you back if you decide to buy that toy or you don't want to buy that toy. So let's say they give you the $3 and then they're obligated to buy the toy. Let's say the toy is worth $8, okay? And they don't want to buy it. They say, man, this toy ain't worth $10 no more. It's worth $8. So that means you get to keep their $3 plus the toy, okay? I hope y'all understanding what I'm getting at. If you do, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. Okay, so now let's say if the toy is worth $12, okay? You can still sell that toy either at $10 or $12, plus keep the $3. And then once you sell that toy, you collect the $3. So now you up to $15 or $13. Okay, those two prices, right? That you collect because you sold the toy. And let's say it drops back down to $8, the toy. And you go buy that toy again. You rinse and repeat. That's how you can collect. You can make money off of cover calls and puts. So if you end up owning the toy, you can still make money off cover calls. Those 4 things will change your financial. You could become a millionaire off those 4 things, what I just told you. How to start? First thing, click the link in my descriptions. Get started with that. Step number 1. And I hope this helps you. If it is, let me know. I had to leave my 9-to-5 for this. I had to. My 9-to-5 broke me because I was waiting on a check. I was waiting to get paid. I was waiting on insurance benefits. I was waiting on my 401k to grow. I was waiting. A wait game. I'm like, man, no. I'm tired of waiting. The wait is over. My 9-to-5 literally broke me because I could make more money outside of my 9-to-5. If I see Miss Jones down the street, she needs some yard work, I can go over there and do it for cheap. Landscaping, that's what I do anyway. I don't do it for cheap, but I do it for a reasonable price. I don't say cheap, I just do it for, at first I did it for cheap because I needed to build my income. I need to build. And now I do it for a price that's worth my time and that's worth the value of what I did to make the job 100% looks good. That's what I did. That's what I do now. So I start doing that and I start creating an income. And I said, man, I don't need a 9-to-5. I'm making more money. It was one day, several times now, where I do one job. I could do one job in construction, one job that pays a 6-month salary to a year's salary that I did at a 9-to-5. I could invest in this certain stocks with the four items I just gave you and make enough income to cover a year's salary in one punch, one day. Isn't that crazy? You can too. I hope this video was valuable to you. Let me know if you need anything. Let me know in the comment section. Thank you and God bless.